Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. It is Vlogmas Day 10. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. This year for Vlogmas, I am doing the whole series on modifiers. So today's modifier is going to be Modifier 58. And as always, I'm going to start out by reading from the Appendix A that has some of these modifier definitions in the CPT Professional edition by the AMA. So let us begin. Modifier 58. Staged or related procedure or service by the same physician or other qualified healthcare professional during the postoperative period. It may be necessary to indicate that the performance of a procedure or service during the postoperative period was A, planned or staged, anticipated, B, more extensive than the original procedure, or C, for the therapy following a procedure. This circumstance may be reported by adding modifier 58 to the stage or related procedure. Okay, so with that being read, we're going to start off with one of my favorites, Novitas, which they talk about their modifier 58 facts sheet. So the appropriate use. Report when a procedure or service during the postoperative period was planned prospectively or at the time of the original procedure, more extensive than the original procedure, or for therapy following a diagnostic surgical procedure. When performing a second or related procedure during the postoperative period. So, of course, me being the orthopedic coder, the thing that comes to mind is this. When the patient has a closed treatment on their first visit for a fracture, right? They have that closed treatment done, and then they're coming back in for their for recasting. That recasting code gets that 58 modifier, and then the right or the left. So that would be an example, because that casting is related to the original procedure, right? Because they have to put them in a new cast, because obviously as they are healing, they need to get that cast changed out. So again, that's just an example. Now, inappropriate use. Staged procedures do not apply to claims for assistant at surgery or services of an ambulatory surgical center. I almost said it backwards, that's why I said it slow. It does not apply to procedures with XXX global period, okay? So you will see in some of these procedures, you will see that XXX as the global period, because it would be in the parentheses. Then you know this does not apply, this modifier 58 does not apply to that procedure code. Unrelated procedures during the postoperative period, clearly, if it is not related to this procedure, it does not apply. And then reporting the treatment of a complication from the original surgery that requires a return to the operating room or service, not separately payable, but that does not require a return to the operating room. Let me read that again. Reporting the treatment of a complication from original surgery that requires a return to operating room or service not separately payable that does not require a return to the operating room. Clear as mud, right? Example. A patient with diabetes and advanced circulatory problems has a gangrenous toe removed from her left foot on February the 5th, 2019. At the time of the surgery, the physician advised of the possibility of amputating the left foot due to her condition. On February 26, 2019, which is just a few days later, right? The physician performed an amputation of the left foot, all right? So there's about 21 days in there in between. So bill as follows. Procedure code 28820, amputation of the toe, 90-day global period. Date of service is February the 5th, 2019. And then the second procedure is procedure code 28805, amputation through the metatarsal with modifier 58 on the date of service, February 26, 2019. Documentation must substantiate the use of modifier 58. So basically what they're saying is this. The physician said that they were going to try to take just the toe, and then they were going to see how that went. But they knew that the possibility was going to be there that they were going to have to take more of the foot. So that's why they said the physician advised of the possibility of amputating the left foot due to her condition. So on February 26, 21 days later, the physician performed an amputation of the left foot. So they tried to take the toe first, and then when that didn't work, they said, okay, we're going to go ahead and take more of the foot so that way this patient can get back to healing and we can, get this patient up and moving again. So because of this, because the physician kind of knew what was going to happen, or the possibility that it may have happened, that's why they said that the 28820 for the amputation of the toe went first, and then when that didn't work, they said 28805, which is the amputation of the foot with that modifier 58. And then clearly you're going to use the laterality as well, which would be the left, the LT modifier. And then documentation must substantiate the use of modifier 58. So again, having that in their narrative, well, we are going to start with the toe and see if this will work. And it is a possibility that we may have to take more of the foot. And that would be substantial enough, right? And so the other website that I like for modifier 58 is from MedPro Disposal. Okay, when to use modifier 58? Modifier 58 is used for a staged or related procedure or service by the same physician during the postoperative period. Further, according to cms.gov, another favorite, modifier 58 indicates that the procedure was planned either at the time of the first procedure or prospectively, more extensive than the first procedure, or for therapy after a diagnostic surgical procedure. There is some ambiguity here because nowhere in the CPT manual does CMS clarify whether the above conditions are separated by or and. However, it is generally assumed that the conditions are or cases. That is, any of them can be by itself trigger the use of modifier 58. For billing purposes, CMS states that the next procedure in the series starts a new postoperative period. All right. Clarifying modifier 58. Modifier 58 covers a return to the OR. It's always for a related procedures. I'm reading it exactly like this, okay? It's always during the postoperative period. The key with modifier 58 is that it's almost always covers a procedure the doctor knew about before the end of the related first operation. For example, a surgeon does a biopsy, finds cancer, and then has to bring the patient back to remove the rest. Examples of when to use modifier 58. The following examples illustrate different situations when modifier 58 would be used. Modifier 58, example 1. A surgeon performs a biopsy on a patient. The results indicate that the sample is cancerous. The surgeon performs a second procedure to remove the cancer. Use modifier 58 when billing for the second procedure. Why? Because the surgeon knew the biopsy might result in a further, more extensive procedure pending test results. Modifier 58, example 2. A surgeon performs a procedure to debride a sacral ulcer. During the procedure, the surgeon knows she must perform a skin graft on the ulcer site at a later date. The skin graft will be billed with modifier 58. Why? Because during the original procedure, the physician knew the graft procedure would take place. When not to use modifier 58. If a different physician performs the second procedure, if the procedure is unrelated, if the procedure doesn't take place in the postoperative period, if the procedure was not staged, planned at the time of the first procedure, in cases of assistant at surgery services. So that is the example on that. But to further talk about my example for the patient who is coming in for the cast change and the 58 goes on that, the physician will typically note in their original casting or the original close treatment when they will see the patient back, and they will say something to the effect of, oh, and for a cast change or for follow-up. So that is where I would say that. And I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope this makes more sense to you now. But again, looking at the language of the description of the modifier will help you to know when this is appropriate. Obviously, with 58, you know it's going to be in the global period. And it is also going to be only applied to procedure codes and not to evaluation and management codes. So I hope this makes sense, and I hope this helped you. And so if it did, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see y'all on the next episode. Bye.